When you think about the first of the month, what sticks out? New Year's Day or maybe April Fool's Day? Well, at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, we are going to make the first of every month a celebration. As many of you know, and some of you may not, when you purchase wager bucks, they can be used exactly the same as cash, dollar for dollar. Each and every day, you can save up to 20% on every purchase you make by purchasing wager bucks. From $100 gets you 110 to $2,500 gets you 3,000. But for the rest of this 2022 calendar year, when you head to the WagerBucks page on the first of every month, we'll credit you an additional 10% in WagerBucks until the clock strikes midnight. Mark your calendars for the first of every month, as this special is only available until midnight Pacific time on the first of every month through the end of the year.
I absolutely love that new intro we have there. We came up with some nicknames. Of course, the Irishman will always be the Irishman. Nick Borrman, you saw the Lars name. That's really a Kevin Dolan to Nick Borrman name. And then the Pavlos one, it's an Instagram one that is absolutely hilarious with the boys. So we have a nickname for all of them. They'll probably change as we do these shows, but let's bring them all in. It's stoppage time. This is the World Cup qualifying edition. We're going to do two games from South America with the Peru, Ecuador, and Uruguay and Venezuela game, and a couple from CONCACAF as USA take on Honduras and Mexico take on Panama. Let's bring in the guys. Nick, I know you don't like that Lars name, but it's all Kevin's fault. How you doing?
It is all Kevin's fault. I'm doing all right. Other than feeling like shit, I'm doing well. Been a decent qualifying break so far, 4-1. I haven't had a lot of volume, but I do have 3 plays going today in South America, so we'll hope to continue that. And had a good 2-week run during Kevin's favorite tournament of the year, the Aussie Open. So that was a good start as well. So things are doing all right.
Yeah, quickly before I go to Kevin next on this one. That final with Nadal and Medvedev was early in the morning here, 3:30 in the morning. I bet that I woke up, saw it was 2 sets to love for Medvedev, started counting my money, went back to sleep, woke up about 3 hours later, and it's in the 5th set, and I lose that one. So, but a fantastic match, nonetheless. Nadal, the new record holder with 21 titles. Kev, I know you're a monster tennis and golf fan, but tell us how things are with you.
All good, Carmine. And I mean, in my defense, Nick's face does look like a Lars to me. I mean, that name fits perfectly. So, I think everyone watching the show will agree with that. But yeah, look, to be honest with you, tennis, I don't care. It's just I don't. If it was being played outside the window, I wouldn't even open it to have a look, to be honest. But look, sure, it's a great sport for everyone else. But things are going well with me right now. We had the under 3 goals in the Coupe de France. I'll have to obviously ask Pavlos if I pronounced that right. Cup game, PSG and Nice last night over in France. That was an easy winner. Finished 0-0 regulation, and we got a stack card on Tuesday. We got a Euro 5-pack up. Games in England, France, Scotland, Portugal, and we got a 4-pack up tonight as well in the South American World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, pretty excited about that, and looking forward to breaking down these games as well.
Awesome. We wish you the best of luck. And speaking of Pavlos, or Manolo as he is now known, Pavlos, how are things going, my friend?
Yeah, things are going great. I don't know, guys. I love this AFCON. It made me a ton of money so far. I'm up 50 units since January 12, mostly because of the AFCON and some of these, World Cup qualifiers. Things are going great, but I can't wait for the, club soccer to be back. I mean, it's, these national teams are fun to bet on, but I just want, the real action. I'm bored with all these draws and all these unders and all these penalty kicks and the red cards. We bet on every single match on this props, and most of them are winners. So I'm just looking forward to to the Dortmunds and the Sassuolos and all that stuff. So yeah, I think this is our last show with the national teams, but I'm super excited to talk about these matches.
Yeah, it will be next week. We'll be back to domestic league action and Champions League right around the corner. We're into February, and the first set of games will go, I believe, on the 15th. So definitely looking forward to that. Knockout stages of Champions League are just absolutely fantastic. Not only viewing, but of course betting as well too. But for now, we have World Cup action still. The World Cup is later this year, November and December in Qatar, and there's still a lot up for grabs. Still teams trying to get into it, and especially in South America, the top two spots, Brazil and Argentina, are locked in. But those that third and fourth automatic qualification, direct qualification, are still up for grabs, as is that fifth playoff spot. So we're going to cover a couple of games, and let's get right to it. First game, Peru and Ecuador. Let's have a look at the numbers for this one. Peru at home, plus 125. The draw is plus 220. Ecuador also plus 220 in this game. I'm going to look at this first, and I'm going to throw it to you, Kev. But, this is match day 16 of 18. And these two sides currently sit third and fourth in the group. Ecuador on 24, Peru on 20, just a point ahead of Uruguay for that direct qualification. And this is one of those ones where I look at the game, and as far as Ecuador goes, I think their run out is one. They got a 5-point buffer right now on Uruguay, but their run out is probably one of the easier ones in the sense of they've got this game in Peru, which won't be an easy one. But then they play, I believe, Paraguay before finishing at home, where they're very tough to beat against on match 18 against Argentina, and that'll probably be a watered down Argentina team. You're likely not to see a few of their stars who will still be playing with their domestic leagues, and they've already qualified. So I doubt we'll see guys like Messi in the lineup there. As far as Peru, they played the perfect game in Colombia, slow the game down, try and get a draw, and then they snatched victory right at the death, winning that game in Colombia and getting a big 3 points. But they're only a point ahead of Uruguay. When I look at this game, this is a big one for them. This is a game that they need. But the makeup of this game just seems like it's going to be similar to that Peru Peru-Colombia game. Ecuador is going to come in here knowing a point is just as valuable as a win for them. They're going to try and slow this game down to a crawl. This is going to be a game with not a lot of attacking, not a lot of open space through the middle, which leads me to the under. Normally, you'll see unders at 2.5, 2 3/4. Not in South American World Cup qualifying. These totals are normally at 2, 2 1/4. This total is at 2, and this is where I'm going. I'm going under the total here of 2. I just don't see how this game gets us to 3, absent of any penalties or an early goal that opens this up. But under 2 is the play here for me. Kev, your thoughts?
Yeah, Carmen, I agree on the under as well. But from a side perspective, I do quite like Peru in this spot at the odds given. I mean, we look back to last week's game, Brazil-Ecuador. I mean, what a crazy, crazy game. 2 penalty appeals for Ecuador in that game, goal chalked off as well. I mean, I forgot how many times Alisson was ordered off the pitch. I mean, it seemed to be, all the time. I mean, it was a nuts game. Brazil extremely fortunate, you have to say, to keep their unbeaten run intact in that one as well. So, I don't know, maybe we see some type of impact carry over from this game for Ecuador. I mean, there was a ton of emotion at the end of that game. The highs of almost knocking off Brazil, to then getting crushed by a couple of faceless VAR decisions. So, as good as Ecuador have looked over this qualification campaign so far, I just think I'd rather be on the Peruvian side in this one later tonight. The turnaround in this Peruvian team has been, nothing short of spectacular in my opinion. Sitting last, I believe, in the group after 7 rounds, find themselves now in an automatic qualification spot, banking 15 points from a possible 24 over the last 8 games. So, it's been a massive turnaround for this team. Thoroughly deserved, you'd have to say as well. And, there's a ton of excitement building in Peru right now as well. This is a team who've qualified for just one major World Cup tournament over the last 9 attempts. Their 100-year anniversary of the National Football Federation is coming up this year as well, around September, I believe. The fact this game is in Lima, the capital, Peru being the hottest team in this competition right now as well, back-to-back wins, the only team to do so. So I just think this team are riding a huge momentum train right now. And because of that, I'd rather be with this team than against them. So, Ecuador haven't beaten Peru in a major competition for over 10 years. I think that continues here tonight. And it's got to be Peru for me on the quarter goal handicap line here tonight against Ecuador, in my opinion, in the capital Lima. So, yeah, Peru for me minus quarter goal.
Yeah, Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. And I agree with you. I like this Peru side as well. And yeah, that Brazil game was, I watched that game. I think I commented and tweeted out about it. It was goal scored and then VAR pulling them back. It was red cards that weren't red cards, penalties awarded that went to VAR and then were rescinded. It was quite the game, and it just made you feel like it would end with a questionable result. But 1-1 in the end, after a couple red cards, one direct and one through a couple yellows in that one. Guys, before we head to the second game, I want to mention it's Tuesday, so it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers play, and one of the hottest cappers at each site for only $2. These are plays that normally sell for $25 and $35. At WagerTalk, it's Steve Merrill. If you head over to WagerTalk.com, you can pick up Steve Merrill's $2 play, and along with that play, there'll be some great promos inside that you can take advantage of as well too, with some long-term packages as well too. So head over to WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, and you can pick up those plays for only $2. All right, second game on the card, guys. We are going to look at a CONCACAF fixture here, USA and Honduras. Let's have a look at the odds here. USA, a big favorite at minus 555. The draw plus 575, Honduras plus 1600. Before I throw it over to Nick, let me tell you, I was at the World Cup qualifying game on Sunday in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada and the US, watching that game, cheering on the Canadians, and what a game it was. We as the Team Canada, of course, unbeaten at this point, have not lost a game. The only team, I think, in this competition not to have lost a game. They've taken 4 points from Mexico. They've taken 4 points from the U.S., so they hold the tiebreakers as well, too, instead of top the group. Canada's playing absolutely fantastic football right now and on their way to qualifying for the World Cup, something that years ago people wouldn't have thought, but a very talented team playing some great football. But anyways, we're here to talk about the USA. So Nick Borrman, give us your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, Canada, no doubt the surprise of the group. And Carm, I think you have to be honest and say you probably weren't betting them to win the group before this thing started, but they've been playing great. And kudos to them. And USA, a chance if they win that game against Canada to really put a stranglehold on their qualification spot. But they failed to do so. Still, a win here will put them in that great position to lock it up with a win in the following game. Right now, there's 4 games still remaining. Honduras is a great team for them to face, as they are the worst in the group, the only winless team so far in this group. They have a 5 goals scored, 19 goals allowed differential so far, and they've lost 6 straight games. So Honduras is definitely struggling, and they have no chance at qualification at this point. So you got to wonder what their motivation is coming in. In the first meeting, I would say, it would be easy to look at the final score and say, 4-1, bet USA to lay minus 1.75. That's the Asian handicap right now. But I think it's a little skewed. Honduras led actually 1-0 at halftime before USA had to score 4 times in the second half, including 2 very late ones. However, Honduras has had problems scoring, as they have been held to 5 clean sheets in their last 7 games. The concern I have here is just the USA is not scoring goals in bunches. And when these teams met before that 4-1 meeting, they met in the summer. USA won 1-0 in the Nations League with an 89th minute goal. So it took all the way to the end of that game to get a winner. At the current price at minus 1.75 and juiced, I just don't see a lot of value. We'd have to get a 3-goal win to cash a full wager there, and I just don't trust USA to score 3 goals. If it was -1.5 and a decent price, I would probably be playing it, but at -1.75, I don't see a lot of value there. Instead, what I would do, and the price isn't great, but USA to win and under 3.5 goals seems like a good play. It's not, again, a cheap price. It's currently listed at -175. But I feel like that's a decent chance to get a full winner, more so than -1.75. And only one of USA's qualifying games has gone over 3.5 goals, and only 2 of Honduras's games have finished over 3.5. So combo play, USA to win and under 3.5 seems like a decent play here. Again, if you like USA, you could just take them on the side. I just thought it was a little high, and I just don't trust them scoring 3 goals. But I'd be very surprised if the USA does not win this match.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Nick. And, even looking at the prices, I was trying to find a way of playing this. And, I even thought about USA to win and both teams to score no, but even that is juiced to -175, which is more than you normally see with this kind of a prop result and both teams to score market. It's with every loss, and there haven't been a lot of losses for the U.S. in this in qualifying thus far. I think only 2. But it just seems like the noose around Greg Berhalter's neck gets tighter and tighter. I'm not sure if Pavlos has any thoughts on that, but let's get his take on this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys are going to like my take on this game, but I'm kind of going against USA, but hear me out here. USA, in their 5 home matches so far in the qualifiers, all 5 matches were draws at halftime. And 8 of their 10 matches so far, regardless of venue, were draws at halftime. Now Honduras, their loss to El Salvador pretty much destroyed their qualifying chances, if they had any. Now they're mathematically not going to make it, no matter what happens in the rest of their matches. They do have some quality up front with Romelu Kyoto and Albert Ellis, who plays for Bordeaux in France. So there's that. They're kind of terrible on the road, but in their 4 away matches so far, Honduras had 2 draws at halftime. They were winning once and they lost once. So the way I look at this is taking Honduras double chance at halftime plus 120. And another reason why I like that bet is the fact that now that the Honduras are outside of the qualification chase, that might take some stress off their legs, and we usually see teams that perform slightly better, bad teams that perform slightly better right after they were disqualified. So maybe they have something to prove. Maybe they want to, it's a revenge game because, as Nick said, they were winning by 1-0 for an entire half in the reverse fixture, but then USA, they scored 4 goals in the second half and they won. So I think this is a match where Honduras won't be indifferent. They want to prove something. That combined with the fact that USA's all 5 of their home matches had draw at halftime, and 8 of their 10 matches so far, regardless of venue, had draw at halftime. I wouldn't be surprised by another low-scoring first half. So I like Honduras double chance or plus half a goal at halftime at plus 120.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo with his take on this one. It's a good thing, I think, at times where we have disagreements on games, and we'll just let the betting public take some of the information from each of us and come up with their own kind of wager on this one. But one where I'm sure we're going to have a disagreement is on this next game. And it's Kevin Dolan and I looking at Uruguay and Venezuela. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Uruguay at home, minus 330. The draw is plus 350. Venezuela, a juicy underdog roll of plus 1200 in this one. When I look at this game, obviously Cavani and Suarez and company, they finally broke that losing run with a 1-0 or 1-0 win at Paraguay. And although they sit in 5th spot, which is a playoff spot and not direct qualification, their fate is in their own hands with 3 games remaining, because on match day 17, they'll face Peru, who are currently a point above them and 4th in that final direct qualification spot. So win out, and they're in the World Cup. Winning out is obviously not the easiest thing to do in qualifying in South American football, but they did get, as I said, a big win last time out at Paraguay with Suarez, a 50th minute goal in that one. And now they face a Venezuela team who thus far on the road have lost all 7 games, outscored 14-2. Their only goals they've scored have come against 8th place Bolivia and 9th place Paraguay. So they have not yet scored against any of the teams in the top 6 or 7, and now face a Uruguay team who need the 3 points here. The price, laying a goal and a half, 3/4 of a goal and 3/4 in South American soccer is, I wouldn't recommend it. It's just, we've seen so many tight 1-0 type games. Another route to take in this is the prop markets. And this is where I'm looking at in this game. I'm going to take Uruguay to win and both teams to score no. And that will give you plus money at plus 110. I don't see Venezuela scoring here. And I see a Uruguay win. So regardless of whether they win 1-0 or 2-0, that bet will get us there. So Uruguay to win, both teams to score no, and plus 110. That's my play here. I'm ready for some disagreement. Kevin Dolan, tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, I was looking at this game earlier, Carmine, and I don't know. I'm just attracted to the both teams to score yes, because it's at a big price. It's around plus 150 right now. And again, I'm just tempted by the price. But look, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's buying too much into that 4-1 destruction of Bolivia last time out for Venezuela. But at least this finally got their shooting boots going in this competition. Rondon with that hat trick as well. But prior to that, Venezuela had scored just once across their last 270 minutes of competitive football. So, it's kind of what version do we get from them here? As you said, they've been, really, really poor on the road. And look, Uruguay have been far from watertight defensively this campaign as well. But, they have been slightly better at home, in fairness. They've given up just 0.86 goals per game in Montevideo. So this is a close one to call. As look, I'm the same as you. I have no interest in taking a side here. Uruguay just 1 win across the last 6. 3rd lowest goals tally as well. So look, I don't want any part of laying a full goal and a half here on them against anybody tonight. Basically any international team. But by the same token, neither do I want a Venezuela team who have scored just once against this Uruguay team over the last 5 head-to-heads. So this for me comes down to whether or not I think Venezuela can score in this game, as you said. And if you're going to give me a big price on plus money, I might take the chance here. Both of the previous 2 heads-to-heads between these two ended in 0-0 stalemates. But I don't think that's what we're going to get from these two later tonight. Uruguay are feeling the heat right now, as you said. Their lead for qualification is all but evaporated. As it is, they've been pushed out to the playoff spot as well. They've got Colombia right up their tailpipe, right behind them. And they'll know they simply won't have a better chance of guaranteeing themselves 3 points over the rest of this campaign than facing the bottom place team in this group later today in Venezuela, especially, as you said, with those 2 very tricky ties against Peru and Chile on deck as well. So they're going to have to try and push forward in this game for a result here. And on the other side, look, we've got a Venezuela team playing we're pretty much abandoned right now. They can't qualify for anything. Completely out of the picture. I believe there's a mathematical chance of 5th, but it ain't happening. So they may as well try and go back to the well in terms of playing that attack and brand of football they used against Bolivia. What's the point in playing safe here? And it seemed to work pretty well for them last time out. So I like the value on the both teams to score yes prop here. It's floating around between plus 145, plus 150 right now. That's a big price. And by the same token, the over 2.5 obviously appears to be in this one as well. So I don't, in my opinion, I don't think you can look at either of the last 2 head-to-heads between these two because, it was a different time in the group stage. They still wanted to grind out results. We're at a stage now where, especially for Venezuela, that doesn't matter. So, simply repurposing those results into this game, it's not going to work. So Yeah, give me the both teams to score. Yes, prop tonight, plus 145 or over 2.5 in this goals. As at that price, I'll take the risk for Venezuela to get a goal here.
All right, Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com with his take on Uruguay and Venezuela. I'm going to be watching some of these games. I'm likely not going to watch this game with my wife because she is 1/4 Venezuelan, and because I'll likely have action on Uruguay, it doesn't bode well watching the game with her. She's already upset that our hometown team here in Toronto FC, got rid of Venezuelan player, traded him to Tigres this past week, Jefferson Soltaldo. So he is down in Mexico now. She has his jersey, so she's not too happy about him getting traded to Tigres from Toronto FC. But it should be a good game tonight. All right, one other game on the card, guys. We're going back to CONCACAF World Cup qualifying for this one. It is Mexico. Speaking of Mexico, of course, and Panama. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Mexico minus 320. The draw plus 385. Panama plus 1080 on this one. That's a juicy price on a Panama team that's playing extremely well. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. This game's going to be played again in Mexico with no fans in the stands. We saw Mexico have to play their last game against Costa Rica this past weekend with no fans in the stands. That game finished in a scoreless draw, which I was pretty happy with because I had Costa Rica plus 1.5 goals in that one. Give me your thoughts on this one, because this Panama team is right there in the standings. They're in the playoff spot, the fourth playoff spot, just a point back of Mexico. So a win by Panama puts them into one of the direct qualifying spots in third place. Can they pull it off?
Yeah, I mean, so far, Mexico is just not the same dominant Mexican team that we've seen from years past, and they're not a team I want to get behind and lay, more than a goal against Panama or most teams right now. They stand, you mentioned it, Carm, third in the group, tied with USA in points, 1 point clear of Panama. Big game here, as neither team wants to finish fourth, as you have a qualifying game to actually get into the World Cup. That being said, Panama, they're more than capable of keeping this game close and stealing a point, just like Costa Rica did on Sunday in that 0-0 draw. Panama have just one loss in the group by more than 1 goal, and they've already played Mexico to a 1-1 draw at home. Mexico have managed to score just 13 goals in 10 games so far in group play, so I just don't trust them, sort of like the USA, I don't trust them to score here and cover a big number. They've only won by more than 1 goal twice so far in this group against bad teams, Honduras and El Salvador. While it doesn't matter much for this game either, it is worth noting that 4 years ago in the last World Cup qualifiers, Panama held Mexico to a scoreless draw at home and then kept it to a 1-goal loss in Mexico as well, so covered both games there. Under 2.5 seems like a decent play in this game as well, but I'm just going to go with the side. I think Panama plus 1.25 goals is very likely to come through. I just don't see Mexico winning by 2 or more goals. And that big price, Carm, that you mentioned at over 10-1 is very tempting to just throw something on Panama to come in and actually win this game outright.
All right, Nick Borrman at WagerTalk.com. And Nick, I agree with you. Listen, Mexico have just a ton of quality. Everyone expected them to be top of the group right now in qualifying because that's normally where they are. We'll see them in the World Cup. I just can't see them crashing out of CONCACAF qualifying. But the Costa Rica game, if nothing else, that did show you that a team can come in to Mexico, and especially one with an empty stadium, and just slow down this Mexican side, play for the draw, and try and steal a point and maybe steal a win. So Panama's played well up until now. Through 10 games, Mexico have 13 goals. We never see that from this team. This is a team that we normally expect to see 2 or 3 goals, especially when they're playing the likes of Honduras and El Salvador. They just haven't done it thus far in qualifying. Pavlos, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I don't really trust Mexico. I totally agree with Nick. I have Panama plus 1.5 at minus 125. I want to get the full payout because I think this is a match where at worst case scenario, Panama lose by 1 goal. Panama, they've been Really solid. They have 3 wins in their last 4 matches. All 3 wins came with both teams to score and over 2.5 goals combo. I was looking at Panama's matches on the road, and they started off with they beat Jamaica by 3-0. Then they lost to El Salvador, which was just a bad. I think it was their only bad match on the road, where they lost by 1-0 to El Salvador, and they didn't have a single shot on target. But then they actually scored the first goal against Canada, and they did lose 4-1, but they were kind of solid in that first half. Then they came back from 2 goals behind to beat Honduras 3-2. They scored 3 late goals to beat Honduras 3-2. And in their last match, where they also lost to Costa Rica by 1-0, they were the better team in that match. They had 64% ball possession. They had 16 goal attempts, just 2 shots on goal. I mean, if you compare that stats to Costa Rica, they were just the better team. So this goes to show that they are a very, they keep fighting. And now they find themselves at the 4th spot, which is actually a qualifying spot. The top 3 spots automatically lead to the World Cup, while the 4th spot leads to a playoff match with a team from another continent. So Panama are sitting 4th with 17 points. Mexico and USA have 18 points. So, I mean, this is a match where Panama, if they win, they'll overtake Mexico. I don't think they'll overtake USA. But this is a match where both teams are really interested in all 3 points. And the reverse match was a 1-1 draw in Panama, where Panama actually, they weren't very good. They were solid in the first half, but and the other thing that worries me is the fact that Panama, they've lost, I think, each of their last 4 matches in this venue, but they didn't lose by many goals. So they have a great motive to stay in this match. Mexico, they've been very good defensively, but their offense, as you guys said, has been underperforming a lot in this tournament. So Panama are fighting for points in every match, and I think that they can remain within reach here. So I like Panama plus 1.5 goals at -125.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos, and I agree with you, Pavlos. Listen, not too many teams go into Azteca Stadium and come away with any points most of the time. But an empty stadium, we've seen it across Europe, and we've seen it in this qualifying as well too. And in South America, without fans, it is a completely different type of game. It just seems. And Mexico and that fan base that they have when Azteca is full makes it that much of a tougher venue to go into, as well as obviously the elevation that the game is played at. All right, guys, before we get into our best bet segment, where we discuss some of the games going on this weekend and give you all a free play from each of us, I want to mention one last time, $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, where you can get a featured capper's place for only $2. Over at WagerTalk, it is Steve Merrill. You can get his play up now for only $2. And over at Sportsmemo, we've got 3 cappers. You can get R&R totals, you can get Dion D'Amico and Alan Harris. 3 different cappers, three different plays, all for $2 and $2 each. And of course, with those, there's some great promos you can take advantage of. So head over to Sportsmemo and WagerTalk.com to take advantage of those. All right, guys, it is time for our best bet segment. We're going to look at the top 5 leagues in Europe, and each of us is going to give you a best bet on the card. Kev, let's kick it off with you. You're heading to Italy and a Serie A fixture.
Yeah, no Sassuolo for a second back-to-back week. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, look, we're going back to the well-known Italian high-scoring drawers here, Carmine. And the system keeps spitting them out. And this week it's chosen Empoli and Bologna for this Sunday to draw at a healthy plus 270 price tag, which I like. So, outside of the system on its own, Empoli have drawn 3 of the last 6 overall. Bologna are coming off 3 straight defeats as well, so they really, really need to try and grind out a result here at home in this one. And 2 of the last 6 head-to-heads between these two have ended in stalemates as well. So I like the value on Sunday in this one, especially a plus 270 price tag, and it's a play that I'm going to be on for this weekend.
All right, Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com, and he's got a 5-pack up today. You can get it over at WagerTalk. in soccer throughout Europe and South America as well too. Next up, Germany Bundesliga, Nick Borrman with a play for us. Nick, tell the guys in chat and watching this later on what you like.
Yeah, I really like this Bundesliga matchup on Sunday. Leverkusen at Dortmund, over 3.5 goals. This matchup produced a lot of high-scoring games. 7 of the last 8 have finished over this total, including a 4-3 win by Dortmund back in September. Number 2 and number 3 scoring teams in the league behind only Bayern. Dortmund scored 52 goals in 20 games. Leverkusen have netted 49. And for both teams, that's really their key to winning because neither has a good defense by any means, as you would expect from top teams. Both teams actually sit middle of the table, ranking number 9 and number 10 in goals conceded, with Dortmund allowing 1.44 expected goals and Leverkusen allowing 1.51. Compare that to an actual good defense like Bayern, who only allow 0.91. So I think we're going to see some goals here. For what it's worth, I also like Dortmund in this game, but I like the over 3.5 much better.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. All right, we are going to head to France for a game, I believe, or no, Spain. Pavlos Laguretos, tell us what you got going in La Liga.
Yeah, this match goes on Friday. It's between two mediocre or rather bad sides, Getafe and Levante. I'm picking Getafe money line here at plus money. Getafe, they've been in really, really great shape lately. They've only lost to Sevilla and Villarreal in the last 12 La Liga matches. They have 5 wins, 2 losses, and 5 draws. The change in coach was instrumental for this side. They started the season with 7 consecutive losses, but now they have 5 wins, 3 losses, and 6 draws in their last 14 matches. They grabbed 21 points, and they've been great at home. They're unbeaten in the last 6. They have 5 wins, 1 draw. They beat Real Madrid. They held Bilbao a goalless draw. And I think this streak will continue against that just terrible Levante side, who just recently recorded their first win of the season in the 20th match day. They're sitting at the bottom of the standings. They have 11 points. They have just 1 win, 12 losses, and 8 draws. They've been really bad on the road. They have 0 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws. They scored just 10 goals and they have conceded 26, which is, by the way, the worst away defense. They also have the worst overall defense. Levante, they've conceded multiple goals in 6 of the last 7 away matches, and they have conceded 3+ goals in 5 of those. So Getafe, they are looking much healthier right now. Levante are just terrible on the road and overall. So I see plus money on Getafe, and I'm just jumping on that. Getafe money line plus 110.
All right, Pavlos Laguretos. Guys, I am going to close it off with a play, and we're going full circle. We're going back to Italy. I will hold up my coffee mug to let you know where I'm aiming for on this one. Juventus and Verona. Juventus very active in the January transfer window, bringing on top scorer from Fiorentina, Dusan Vlahovic, and we'll see if Allegri gets him right into the lineup in this game. Verona's actually given this Juve team fits over the years, played him extremely tough. But I'm going to go with Juve to win this game. This is a double result kind of bet. I'm going to take Juventus to win and over 2.5 goals. And you can get that at plus money, plus 137. You know, the odd thing about these teams is, and Pavlos loves these exact scores, 5 of the last 7 times these teams have played, it is finished with a 2-1 scoreline. If you actually bet the 2-1 scoreline for Juventus, that number is plus 700 on that number. This finished 2-1. But I see goals in this game, but I also see a Juventus win. So Juventus to win and over 2.5 goals at plus 137. That is my show best bet. I've got a couple plays up in South American qualifying tonight. You can get those over at WagerTalk.com. And then next week, we'll be back, of course, next Tuesday, 10 a.m., where we're going to talk domestic league soccer, and then we're going to get into Champions League, Europa League, and Europa League Conference. The knockout stages are here, and I'm looking forward to it. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button. And as always, good luck with your wagers. We'll see you next Tuesday.
When you think about the first of the month, what sticks out? New Year's Day or maybe April Fool's Day? Well, at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, we are going to make the first of every month a celebration. As many of you know, and some of you may not, when you purchase WagerBucks, they can be used exactly the same as cash, dollar for dollar. Each and every day, you can save up to 20% on every purchase you make by purchasing WagerBucks. From $100 gets you $110 to $2,500 gets you $3,000. But for the rest of this 2022 calendar year, when you head to the WagerBucks page on the first of every month, we'll credit you an additional 10% in WagerBucks until the clock strikes midnight. Mark your calendars for the first of every month, as this special is only available until midnight Pacific time on the first of every month through the end of the year.